Hi, James from the 11 Plus Tutors again. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few common issues that I see with writing, especially with younger kids when they first come in. And what we'll find is that all of this boils down to some fundamental understandings, mainly around what a main clause is and relative clauses. It's all to do with clauses, but so many mistakes happen because of a lack of understanding of this. Now, I spend an awful lot of time in lessons training kids in this basic thing here, what a main clause is, because what you'll find is that will clear up all of these types of mistakes in writing. That's what's so great about it. And we use an exercise called Sentence Gym. In fact, if you go into my channel and search for Sentence Gym, I'll put a link in the description, you'll see some basic training that we do every week, just to try and get kids to understand what a main clause is, and therefore these fundamental mistakes shouldn't happen. So we've just got a few basic mistakes here that we see. Sentence fragments, first of all, incorrect. I don't like to eat Brussels sprouts. Full stop, because I don't like the taste. Now, really, this could be two separate sentences, couldn't it? This is a connective here. If it's a connective, then we don't need the full stop. I don't like to eat Brussels sprouts because I don't. So it runs on into one, so it becomes two clauses joined together using a connective. Or you have full stop without the connective, two main clauses. Here's another option for kids that understand what a semicolon is. Main clause, semicolon, without the connective, main clause. So just to clarify, a few different options that are correct. Don't have a connective, have two separate sentences. Use the connective, but it becomes one sentence containing two joined clauses. Or semicolon, connecting two related clauses, main clauses. And a main clause has a subject, a verb, and it makes complete sense. That's the key thing. Subject, verb makes full sense. That simple piece of understanding will clear up 90% of these types of problems. So next thing is something that is incorrect, but at first glance you might think, what's wrong with that? So dangling modifiers, incorrect. After breaking her leg, comma, it was hard to walk. Now, in day-to-day speech, in conversation to each other, that might make perfect sense, because as intelligent beings, we understand the context of how this is being spoken, and we know that this is relating to the person who broke their leg, but technically, what's it? Technically, there's nothing clarified here. It could be the leg that's finding it hard to walk, so actually it's incorrect. It's really this. After breaking her leg, comma, Jane found it hard to walk. So it's just a bit of clarification here. Clarification about what's being modified. Next thing, run-on sentences. This is another thing where kids don't understand what clauses are, a main clause or a relative clause. Incorrect. My favourite pizza topping is mushrooms, comma, they are really tasty. I also like pizza with olives. So, my favourite pizza topper is mushrooms. That's a main clause. They are really tasty. That's a main clause as well. So you don't use a comma here, because you use a comma when you're using relative clauses, not joining main clauses together. You would either use a connective here or a semicolon, or have them as separate sentences, but not a comma, because they are two main clauses. Again, I would go and look at my Sentence Gym video. It will clarify a lot of things here. The other thing we see is wordiness, over-wordiness. Now, this is something that starts to creep in actually quite late on, where kids learn lots of new vocabulary, which is fantastic. But what we don't want is like 3 adverbs in a row or 25 adjectives in a row. When we use descriptive language, it has to be for a purpose. And this is really important. With the Essex marking scheme, and I'm sure with other boards, their marking schemes, you can actually lose marks for not for being overly wordy. But there's a balance here, isn't there? We need to show that we've got a great vocabulary. We need to show that we can use advanced adverbs and adjectives, but not when they become ridiculous, not when they're stating the same thing again and again. They have to be for good purpose. So these are just a few issues. But what I would do is I would definitely revert back to my video called Sentence Gym. Have a look at that and look at what makes the main clause and relative clause. You will realise very quickly that it will actually clear up most of these problems here. I hope you found that useful and entertaining. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.